Juraj Slavkovsky is back for the Montreal Canadiens. It is confirmed. It has been confirmed just as we were starting to record this podcast by head coach Martin St. Louis, and he will play with Alex Newhook and Joel Armia.
Because I had my colleague yesterday having a thought about the return of Slavkovsky, Danny Dubé, on radio, 98.5 radio.
Yeah. He's the color commentator for the radio broadcast of the Habs, for those who don't know.
Thank you, Max. And he was wondering that, like, with the Slavs return, should we do, instead of Armia, Newhook, and Kapanen, should we add Slav on this unit and brought down Armia? Which was interesting because he was like, they're two dynamic players, Slav and Kapanen. And I was wondering what were your thoughts on that, but I thought it was a good idea. And now I'm not sure of that second unit.
Here's the thing. From the start of this season, I understood that the way they ended the year, you were going to start with Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky. But from the get-go, especially after Laine's going down, before Laine went down, you could justify, all right, you're going to have Laine with Dak and Newhook, you're going to split your forces, all good. But the second Laine went down, I was like, okay, you have 4 guys that are identified as that have proven their offensive capabilities, and that is Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, and Dak. And even there, you could argue that Slavkovsky won 50-point season. Is it even a stretch to say that he has proven his offensive capability? I don't think so. And Dak hasn't even had a 50-point season yet. It's the injuries, but when he's healthy, to me, he has proven at least that he is an offensive player. So you have only 4 of them. It's still too thin. Split them. 2-2. And I know everybody think that Caulfield and Suzuki are like salt and pepper. They're like Batman and Robin. They come in hand. I would split them. To me, it's Suzuki. I want to see Suzuki and Slavkovsky, and I want to see Caulfield with Kirby Dach. Now, I understand that the Caulfield, Suzuki, Dach has been good in the short absence of Juraj Slavkovsky. Kirby Dach seems to have found his groove on the wing. I don't care. I would have split them.
Would you prefer Kirby Dach staying at a wing side, or do you prefer him as a centerman?
I think that you still need this year to try and figure out if he is a centerman. If it doesn't work next year, I don't have a problem with him down the road. Like, even Demidov, who was drafted as a winger, said during the summer, I actually prefer playing center. So if Demidov comes in and he's a great, like Tim Stuchla in Ottawa. Tim Stuchla, we all thought that guy was a winger when he got drafted, comes in, and he's actually a center in Ottawa, and a very damn good one at that. So who knows?
Were you reassured by the 2 performances during the weekend?
Yes and no. Yes, but it's Jake Evans who said that we're not fully there yet, but we might have turned a corner. I'm pumping the brake a bit on this, and here's why. The St. Louis win was impressive. I thought, especially after the way they beat Toronto, I thought St. Louis was coming and smoking Montreal, and Montreal has been so bad last year on back-to-backs that I thought, oh my God, this losing streak could get ugly. So the win against the St. Louis Blues was impressive. But then, Montreal has been so bad on back-to-backs that I want to see the glass half full again, as I do with the Canucks regarding that win. But it's the Flyers. They're really bad. They were on a back-to-back too. They had a young goalie. It was a boring game between 2 not very impressive teams. So I can't wait to see Tuesday against the Kraken. If they can pull something off, then I'm going to start to say, okay, we might be onto something here.
Yeah, I like the way that they found a way to, come together and find some solutions. Arpon Basu from The Athletic was saying that they simplified the play in the defensive zone.
Bravo.
And we, as we were discussing last week, I'm like, is maybe Martin St. Louis too stubborn with the way he wanted defensive to play?
Yeah, that is interesting.
At some point, you got to say, maybe they don't have the hockey IQ that I have. And we need to find a way for this to work. But what I'm skeptical about is is the same thing, is the way they play this defensively. It got a little better, but I need to see that more and more to be convinced.
Yeah.
Because it's been the lacking of this team since early on, and it still needs to find his way. Like, yeah, I'm curious to see what's going, but there are some little things against the Flyers, some the way that they're pushing the puck away, the way that it's still is risky
Oh yeah,
at some
it's a
point, at some
they're on some
times.
shaky they're on some shaky ice,
Yeah.
in my humble opinion.
If I could,
Before we go,
sorry, Max, if I could
yeah,
just
Kev.
have a quick point just on the Montreal Canadiens. I've been looking at the stats over this morning too, and the first goal is so important for the Canadiens. They've won 4 games when they scored the first goal. They lost 2 of those when they scored the first goal, but they conceded 3 games when they allowed the first goal. So out of all their defeats, 3 of them are when they concede the first goal. They have no comebacks outside of 2 games in games that are the first goal is not there. So that is so important for Montreal. To me, it's a bit of a sign of, is the confidence there? Do they
Yeah.
they trust the system that if they're trailing, they can come back? And that is something to improve, especially with a young team. You want to give them the confidence that 1 goal, no problem, we can come back. So far, that stat would tell us otherwise.
That is a very good point and very interesting. And yep, that is sometimes the mark of a young team still trying to find its groove, that they are not able to come back into games and that they falter too quickly.